We are here today in Lead Hill, Arkansas, which is in Boone County. And of course, this is the old Lead Hill. The old Lead Hill years ago, of course, had to move up on higher ground because they put in Lake Bull shows. One thing that's left for history is this bridge, which was Highway 14 that went to Yellville. Johnny Burleson's with me today, and he has a lot of history that we want to remember about this bridge. John, tell us all about this bridge right here.
Okay. This bridge was finished in 1930. It was kind of the highlight for Old Lead Hill because they didn't have really very good roads going in and out to Harrison. And so this bridge was put into play and everybody was excited about it. And they only had old wooden bridges and slabs crossing these creeks going out of here. So a lot of the locals worked on this bridge years ago. Some of the ones I remember from when I was kids, and they were older then. It was only used for about 20 years, maybe 22 years, after it was finished in 1930. In 1952, the road was moved from here to farther up on higher ground, around back over to my left, coming from where Lead Hill is now, going up to where the Y is, and that way it stayed on higher ground. And then it went on toward Yellville, and there's a bridge right on down this lake. You can see it in the background back there. That is East Sugarloaf Bridge now, and that's the one that is currently in use. But this bridge was the highlight of this area. I've got some of the old schematics of this bridge. When we were trying to save this bridge and petitioning to the Corps to save it, we did a lot of background on it so that we could get all the information we needed for it. And this bridge, I believe, was only one of two of its kind still left in existence today, the way the bridge was constructed. And this bridge is still pretty solid. The blueprint shows that when they got down to solid rock here, they actually drilled down another 8 feet into that solid rock to mount these footings in. The bridge is about 500 feet long. And for years, after it first went in, it was underwater a lot. And I can remember as a kid, which was in the late 70s, and we would come down and ride our horses at the arena that's just up the hill from us here. We would come down here, if the bridge was out of the water, we all liked to ride our horses down, and we would ride around the bridge and ride across the bridge and ride under the bridge. It was just kind of like a central thing for us as we were growing up as kids. And then I believe in around 1982, the Corps raised the lake. For about 16 years, this bridge was mostly underwater from old information and articles that I could read. And occasionally it would go down to where you could see these railings stick up. But around 1998 was the first in about 16 years that the bridge actually came back out of the water. And at that point, they called it the Phantom Bridge because it had been covered up so long that when it emerged, they called it the Phantom Bridge. Since then, it still goes underwater part of the time and it comes up, but this is a favorite place for people to come down and fish off this bridge and just spend time. I can remember as a kid growing up that we would have numerous baptisms down here from church, from all the different churches in the area. This was a favorite place to come down and have baptisms. I can remember one of the first memories that I have of fishing was on this bridge, and it was just about 50 feet further down the bridge. And I was just a little kid fishing with my grandpa here, Troy Trimble, and he was an old fisherman that everybody knew as a fisherman. And he had given me a hot spot fishing plug that he loved at that time, was a big favorite of his, a hot spot. I casted it out. I actually believe he casted it for me. I don't think I was old enough to really cast it, but I pulled it in and I thought I had a fish on, and I was pulling and it wound up I'd hooked somebody else's line that had broken off, and I was kind of disappointed, and he was trying to encourage me, and I pulled it in, we got a hold of the line, and it actually had a fish on the line that somebody had caught and it broke. So I did wind up getting my fish. So that's one of the first memories that I have of fishing from this bridge. My mom also told me, my mom, we just lost her just a few weeks back, and she was 95, and she was telling me about fishing down here when she was younger. Her her dad, which is my grandpa, and his brother, and Elsie Mathis, and a couple other old timers that was here that loved to fish. They were fishing from the bridge, and game warden came down, and she didn't have a license, and he fined her $15. He didn't give her a ticket, he just stuck it in his pocket, which I think at that time that was kind of a way they made a little extra money, I think, is what everybody back then said. But she remembered that, getting the ticket, and only $15. But this bridge has got a lot of history to people in this area. We always called it the Old Town Bridge. That's what it was to us. On the books, it's bridge number 721, and that's what was on the prints. It was the old Highway 14 bridge is what it was on their paper, but we always knew it as just the Old Town Bridge.
Johnny, thank you so much for sharing that with us, and I know it's going to be a real treat for a lot of our folks who've been asking about the Old Town Bridge. That's what you call it, the Old Town Bridge. And so we're just really excited about what this bridge means to us and what it's going to mean to us in the days to come. Right here in Lead Hill, Arkansas, with my friend Johnny Burleson.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.